Okay, so today I'm going to share with you guys a story that's called Mrs. Brown Went to Town, and the author and illustrator are Wong Herbert Yi. I think you'll enjoy it. So, before I get into the story, let's go over a couple words that may be unfamiliar to you, or ones that just help us learn more about words. The first one is the word yak. Yak is an animal, kind of looks like a long-haired cow. It has horns often, usually dark color, although there are some wild ones that are out in their natural habitat, and there are also ones that people keep as pets. So in the story, you'll see the word yak, or you'll hear the word yak. Yak is different because most ak words end with A-C-K. And so that's what we normally see. Words like back, or track, or snack, or jack, they have A-C-K, and you can see that those are the normal ways, the usual ways of spelling ak. Yak, however, doesn't have that C-K. Another word that you'll find, before I move on, yak is a noun, because it's the name of a type of animal. Another word that we'll find is the word fair. F-A-R-E. Now that one is not F-A-I-R. F-A-I-R means that things are even, and that would be like a way of describing something like an adjective. So if I said, oh, this game is fair, or this, the teams are fair. We're not looking at that type of fair today. Instead, we're looking at F-A-R-E, and that is actually a noun. What that does is that is something you might pay for someone who does a job for you. So if we think of jobs, if we think of what we might pay money for, we can divide it into goods and services. We pay money for goods, like if we want to buy a toy, we give the money and we get a toy in response. If we want to buy food, we pay money and we get food back. If we want books, we pay money and we get books. We get something, right? Goods are actually things. Services, however, are when we pay for things that someone does for us. So when we get a haircut, that's a service. I don't want to cut my own hair, so I give someone else money and they cut it for me. We might pay a coach to get better at a sport or to learn a sport or an activity. We might pay a driver, someone who takes us from one place to another. We also might pay a fare for someone in the post office. There might be a fare. And so those aren't something that we come away with, but we are allowed to do something. We also pay a fare on the bridge. So crossing the bridge, I guess it's a toll. Toll and fare can sometimes be similar. I should have thought this out. All right, I'm gonna keep going because I'm not gonna stop. I've already written a lot down here. A couple other words that we're gonna look at. Hobbled, and Zola's gonna help me out with this one. That's a verb. Hobbled is a way of walking. So Zola, can you go out there and show us first, what does it look like to walk? Well, Desmond's gonna get in on the action too. All right, so there's walking. Now, skipping. Show me skipping. Okay, good. Now, walk like you hurt one of your legs. That's what... Desmond wasn't originally in this play, but Zola's hobbling right now. That means one leg is hurt, so she's not walking normally. That's a word that we'll come across in this story too, is the word hobbled. That's a verb that we'll find. The last one that we'll look at is the word quake. And quake is also a verb. That means it's an action. And what quake means, it actually rhymes with a word that is its synonym. You remember what a synonym is? I don't mean cinnamon like we would put on toast or something, but synonyms are words that mean almost the same thing. So another word that means about quake is shake. Now, if we take that word quake and add it with the earth, then we can put it together in a compound word to make
earthquake.
Earthquake, you got it, thank you. Careful, Desmond. So these four words are ones that we'll find in the story.
Yeah.
Yak, fair, hobbled, and quake.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get down to the story.
Yeah.
Okay. Mrs. Brown went to town. Mrs. Brown lives in the barn out back with a cow, 2 pigs, 3 ducks, and a yak. Life on the farm wasn't always this way. Everything changed just last Saturday. When riding her bicycle down the street, a terrier tasted Mrs. Brown's feet. Do you know what a terrier is?
It's a type of dog.
It is a type of dog. That's right. It's a little dog. Oh, that dog bit her foot. In a hospital bed, she rested, waiting to be x-rayed and tested. Careful, Zona. Let's not knock over the camera. Mrs. Brown sent word in a letter to say she'd come home when she was better. The postman delivered the letter out back for a cow, 2 pigs, 3 ducks, and a yak. All the animals except for a mouse voted to move into Mrs. Brown's house. They rang the doorbell and to hear the chimes, flushed the toilet 100 times, raced up the stairs, came sliding back down, each one wearing a different gown. Took turns bouncing on Mrs. Brown's bed, painted the house in matching barn red. They raided the pantry, prepared a snack for a cow, 2 pigs, 3 ducks, and a yak. There's that snack word, A-C-K. In the bathroom, they played for hours, putting on makeup and taking long showers. They dried off in front of a roaring fire, warm and cozy but beginning to tire. Tiptoed upstairs by candlelight, borrowed pajamas to wear for the night. More compound words on this page. Tiptoed, upstairs, and candlelight. All of those are 2 words put together to make a new one. The hospital released Mrs. Brown at 8. A taxi cab dropped her off by the gate. She hobbled upstairs and crawled in the sack. Didn't see a cow, 2 pigs, 3 ducks, and a yak. See that the picture's a little faded. It looks like it's darker, so that's why she didn't see them. The floor beneath them began to quake. The walls and the windows started to shake. All this commotion woke Mrs. Brown in time to feel her bed crashing down. The police were first to arrive on the scene. Fire trucks dispatched from Station 13. An ambulance raced all the way from town and carried away poor Mrs. Brown. In the hospital she lay on her back with a cow, 2 pigs, 3 ducks, and a yak. The hospital released Mrs. Brown at 10. The doctors waved goodbye once again. Into a taxi they crammed all 8. The driver dropped them off by the gate. He swept out the feathers and hair and charged Mrs. Brown twice the fare. That's what we talked about earlier. The fare for driving somebody. Life on the farm wasn't always this way until Mrs. Brown went to town that day. So now she lives in the barn out back with a cow, 2 pigs, 3 ducks, and a yak. The end. So to recap some of the important words that we learned today, a yak is an interesting looking animal, similar to a cow but with long hair. The word fare, which means paying someone for a service. The word hobbled, which hopefully no one has to see or experience, but walking with our leg hurt. And then quake, another word for shake. So keep those in mind.
And Daddy will teach you next time.
There we go. Daddy will teach you next time.
I rhymed the words, right?
You said the right words.